I'm going to talk about valve stem seals today. So, starting with the old type of valve stem seal. This is some kind of weird rope that you have to soak it in oil before you fit it. It sits in the top of the guide here. It's squashed in place with a cap and a spring, and then there's another cap which is held in with a main valve spring. That obviously, when the valve goes through the guide, this is seals around the shaft of the valve. Obviously that's not going to give as good a seal as a modern valve stem seal like this. That's a rubber seal. There was a post on Facebook the other day, a letter from Bentley crew to one of the dealers who was complaining about oil consumption on a Shadow, and they said it was acceptable for there to be 1 litre of oil for every 708 kilometres. So obviously Shadows leak everywhere, but part of that consumption is also going to go through things like valve stem seals. This should reduce your oil consumption. The only trick with these is to make sure that you, first of all, on top of the guides, because they're kind of chamfered down here to take the old seal, it can leave a sharp edge on the top. Now, when you try and press on one of these seals, it's rubber inside, which grips the top of the guide. But if that catches the sharp edge, it just chews up this rubber inside and you'll never get it on. So it's a good idea just to take that sharp edge off with a bit of wet and dry, or even a little die grinder or something like that, making sure obviously nothing gets inside the engine. But that will make it a lot easier to fit that. And then obviously you just got to get it on straight. There was a proper tool from Bentley that will fit these valve stem seals, but you can use a socket that's the right size. Just go over the top, make sure it's straight, just tap it on with a hammer, and it should sit on the guide and it should stay on there. And then obviously I can't show you what it looks like with the valve inside the guide, because obviously when these are pressed into the cylinder head, it affects the internal diameter, so these will have to be reamed once they're installed inside the head. But this sits in the head through the guide, this stays on here and seals the top of the valve like that. It's a good modification to make if you're doing an engine rebuild, but you don't need to take the heads off to do this. You can do it in situ by removing the spark plugs, taking the piston up to TDC. There's a tool that can actually hold the valve in, or actually you can get airline adapters that go into the spark plug holes, which will keep the valve shut. So it's not too much of a job to do. So that's it. You can still get the old type, but obviously if you want to improve your fuel consumption, then we recommend the modern upgrade.